Hello, hello! It is Danos coming at you again, very quickly after the last one. Woohoo! Let's see how long this can last. I hope you are all well. So the last video I mentioned about my wheel of hyperfixation, and I realized it's probably a good video excuse to go into detail on what that actually is. So the concept of my wheel of hyperfixation is something I've come to understand is pretty central to how I've approached creativity and projects in the last few years. Essentially, it's the way my mind cycles through intense interests, often jumping between ideas with almost overwhelming focus before moving on to the next, as long as it's shiny. For me, this process feels like I'm managing a kind of multiverse of my own. Each world or project I create serves a different purpose, scratching a unique creative itch. Whether it's exploring the mechanics of a futuristic colonization effort of the moon through the oversight of the United Nations in the future, building the classical geopolitics of a flintlock fantasy parallel of Poland-Lithuania, or diving into something completely unexpected that totally catches me off guard. The last idea that hit me, I was on an escalator. Don't ask. These worlds don't just represent passing interests though, I think they're deeply personal and interconnected, like fragments of a larger creative whole that represents me as a person, that every so often I keep discovering like I've just unlocked a new part of the level in a game. However, there's a challenge to maintaining that multiverse. It's not just about coming up with ideas, it's about finding ways to nurture and develop them without losing that momentum completely, or feeling overwhelmed by the sheer scope, as is often the case. Again, with ADHD, this process is even more complex. The difficulty in sustaining focus from the dopamine mine on one project for long enough to see it through is definitely something I've come to identify with. And as a visual learner, I find trying to organize my thoughts in ways like digital scrapbooks, Google Drive folders, and creating like these title pages for these ideas certainly took a lot of the pressure off of my memory. So that's a bit about my process. Let's get into the actual mental vault where I house all of my projects. And for anyone who's experienced something similar or is curious about how this process works, I hope this offers some interesting insight, and please feel free to comment if you've got any similar struggles with ideas, universes, or are just wanting to expand your own collection of IPs. So, at my last count, of IPs that I have created, worked on with others, or already existing ones that I've been inspired by, that number as of December 2024 is a lovely round 20. With 11 of those being uniquely mine, 5 of those being settings that I've either had a large or small part in developing, and 4 are settings within already established IPs. I don't think calling them fanfictions is quite doing it any justice. No thank you. I've discussed a couple of them on the channel before, and several of them you've definitely seen before too, like Erica, my World War II alternate history setting centered around a young woman coming to terms with indoctrination and what it means to have humanity. What is humanity? The Atlantean Candidate, a West Wing style behind the scenes of the government halls of a fictional nation known as Atlantis, whose legal system threatens to implode after a 15-year-old is installed as its president for a week. The Coalition, a collaboration between me and some friends where we created a detailed and parallel modern Earth, investigating the process of designing geopolitics from the ground up in a post-World War peace. Some of these aren't simply excuses to do some world building. I'm absolutely wanting to write intricate narratives to go along with some of these. Like Red Contact, a setting where the discovery of crashed alien remains during the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan leads to the strangest concept the world might never have thought of: first contact between an alien race and the Soviet Union, rather than the United States. There was also The Veil and the Sea of Worlds, where the 18th century warship of a burgundy-clad Eastern European-styled empire is flung mercilessly across time and space to another reality. But their chaotic journey yields the possibility that if they return, their world might not look the same ever again. And so begins my introductions to the Wheel. Daenerys Targaryen, eat your heart out. It's exciting to think that this time I really will be able to expose you to all the crazy projects I've been leading up to since I started this YouTube. Well, dear viewers, I will see you very soon. Leave a like if you found this very interesting, and feel free to leave a comment if any of these seriously interests you. All the best! A very tired yet very excited Danos. Bye!